The news is live on Joy 99.7 FM here in Accra. In Kumasi, we're on Love 99.5 FM in Kumasi, and then also over 30 affiliates across Ghana's 16 regions. We're on Clenham Radio in Bato. We are on A1 Radio in Bolgatanga, Radio Max in Takrade, and ATL FM in Cape Coast. You can go digital on your Spotify and myjoyonline.com app. We're also live on Facebook. In this edition, Ghana records its first cases of monkeypox disease, with the Ghana Health Service confirming 5 infections in 3 regions of the country.
So far, since the outbreak in Europe occurred, we've tested 12 suspected cases in Ghana since 24th of May. Currently, we have confirmed 5 cases.
Stay with me, I'll tell you which regions are affected, plus an update on the COVID-19 situation as the country faces a triple threat of infections in coronavirus, influenza and monkeypox. Minority in Parliament serves notice it will block any new bill until the anti-LGBTQ bill is passed.
But you are deliberately wasting time because you don't have the bill. And that is a fact, Mr. Speaker. Because if you look at the method that is used, I can show you that any other bill you introduce this house, we shall resist it. Even if it is to provide water in Ashanti, we will resist it.
Also this afternoon, 9 days after the police service fought off claims that there is no upsurge in crimes, at least 4 separate armed robbery incidents have been recorded in different parts of the country.
All we saw was marksmen appear from the bush. They shot in the air and started searching us. They went into each of the cars and robbed the passengers.
We have details plus hear from an analyst on this, and in the latest edition of Joy News Tracker, Choco women are choosing diapers over sanitary pads for their menstruation because it is too expensive.
It keeps increasing every day. It's becoming expensive to menstruate.
And we'll also find out why some young persons in the Upper West Regional Capital WA are using plastic bags as condoms. Stay with me, we have sports.
Ghana Table Tennis Federation President Mawuko Afajuna has promised to cleanse the system after match fixing allegations led to the annulation of Commonwealth Games qualifying results.
This is your home of independent, fearless and credible journalism. Is the Midday News with me, Emefa. Apawu. Please stay for details. Many thanks for your company once again. This afternoon, health authorities in Ghana are on a high alert as the country records 5 cases of monkeypox. This was confirmed from samples collected from 12 suspected cases. Though the first cluster of the rare infection was detected in the United Kingdom, monkeypox is fast spreading in Nigeria, Cameroon and other West African countries, the latest being Ghana. You can hear from the Director General of the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Patrick Kumabwaje, as he announced this at a press conference a short while ago.
So far, since the outbreak in Europe occurred, we've tested 12 suspected cases in Ghana since 24th of May. Currently, we have confirmed 5 cases. No deaths has occurred among the cases. One of the cases has been recorded in a Ghanaian who traveled to the United States from Ghana. So, I have picked it from here.
Well, for those of you listening on radio and who want to watch what it means when you see to identify monkeypox, you can go directly to our Facebook pages. Joy99.7 FM will show you all that you need to know when it comes to the monkeypox disease. My colleague Manuel Cranting is a member of the health desk. He attended that news conference. He's just joined me in the studio. Manuel, there are 2 key things that we'll talk about. First, though, which areas are these monkeypox cases recorded and how do they manifest?
So, Emefa, we're told by the Ghana Health Service that these 5 cases, which were collected, confirmed from 12 samples collected across the country, are found in the Western region, the Eastern region, and also here in the Greater Accra region. It manifests itself in rashes, as you'd see, little bumps on people's skin with fever and so on and so forth. Well, the affected persons, according to Dr. Patrick Kumabwaje, here in Ghana are not so, in fact, the cases he says are quite mild and not as symptomatic as the other areas that we've seen.
In 3 regions, Eastern, Western and Greater Accra. This is where we've found the 5 cases. It shows as fever, some swellings in the armpits and groin with the lymph nodes. We have headaches, muscle aches, and general body aches. That's how we went. And then, of course, the rash and the blisters will appear. That's how monkeypox is. That doesn't mean that every rash is monkeypox. There's clearly no treatment for monkeypox. Fortunately, it's a mild to moderate case, and so, especially the West African one, is mild to moderate. So we only treat at the symptoms. If you have fever, we give you something to bring your temperature down. Body aches, we give you some painkillers to bring it down.
Well, and that's interesting. No treatment. But then what can I do to prevent the infection, Manuel?
Well, so it's a zoonotic disease, which means that it's transmitted from animals into human beings. And so you want to...
Where we need to call for vaccination of the cases. So prevention is the key activity that we all must embark on, and also early detection and reporting if you see any rash.
Well, that's interesting. But it looks like we are faced with a triple dose of not just the monkeypox. We have COVID and then influenza. Tell us a bit more about it.
Indeed, Emefa, in the past 1 month, according to the Ghana Health Service, the country's COVID-19 cases have been on the ascendancy from an average of 1.3 cases, confirmed cases daily somewhere in April. We're currently doing 44 confirmed cases daily here in the country. And Dr. Patrick Kuma Abuaje says that we may perhaps be eating into the area where people must wear their face masks to ensure that we are able to beat down the COVID-19 virus. But also, he says that according to data gathered from the various health facilities across the country, there are a lot of cases of cold that are being reported at the health facilities, and according to their tracking, we have influenza H3N2 currently that we're battling. So a triple threat, as you would call it, influenza, COVID-19, and now, just as has been confirmed, monkeypox.
In the eastern, western, and greater Accra regions,
Exactly.
5 cases.
Exactly.
There's no treatment. You need to prevent it. You see the symptoms on our Facebook page. Now, I'll get back to health, but let me quickly go on to security-related matters. And 9 days ago, the Ghana Police Service, in a strongly worded statement, fought off claims by the Ghana Bar Association that there was an upsurge in crime. This was at the time the nation was coming to terms with the gruesome murder of an Accra-based lawyer on the Bole Bamboy Highway. Now, there's since been at least 4 different armed robbery cases in various parts of the country, sparking serious concerns about the state of security. Joy News editor and a member of our security desk, Fred Smith, joins me in studio with details of what we are gathering. Well, which incidents have we recorded so far, Fred?
Well, the police statement that assured of no surge was on May 30, and 3 days later, this is on June 2, armed robbers attacked a mining site at Fenaso Ketwa near Obuase. The police gave an update today that it has arrested 4 suspects. A day after that, that is on the 3rd of June, 7 armed robbers robbed victims of 42,360 cedis. 7 of them were later arrested by the police, and this happened in the western region. Yesterday in Tamale, there was an armed robbery incident where resulting in the death of 1 of the alleged robbers and leaving a victim with gunshot wounds. We also have the story from Uneso number 1 in the Chuma Kwangoma district of Ashanti region, where robbers mounted a blockade and robbed at least 4 vehicles a few meters from a police barrier. Nanaya Jima was there. He captured exactly what happened.
With the aid of a defective saloon car and some logs, the armed men blocked the Uneso to Fuansu road to aid the robbery expedition. Some eyewitnesses say the defective Fiat saloon car was spotted being pulled by a Kia truck hours before the incident. 4 buses, all carrying passengers, fell behind the blockade. At gunpoint, victims were robbed of their cash and mobile phones. Driver of one of the buses, Kweku Bedu, narrates the incident.
All we saw was masked men appear from the bush. They shot in the air and started searching us. They went into each of the cars and robbed the passengers.
Residents count not less than 4 robberies this year alone. Somewhere last year, after a robbery incident which resulted in the death of one person, the community decided to put up this shelter you see behind me upon the request of police. About 10 meters from the shelter is the area used for the robbery. Some residents are dissatisfied with the work of the police.
I don't understand why the armed robbers continue to rob vehicles. At the same spot, the police have mounted a barrier. The IGP must address it.
Live news checks have revealed inadequate personnel has forced the police on some occasions to station one personnel at the barrier. It is unclear whether there was a police personnel on guard at the time of the robbery. Further checks reveal only one vehicle patrols the area and has consistently developed faults. Tuesdays are market days for people here at Nyeneso number 1. Many from Kumasi and other communities come in here to trade. But due to the armed robbery incident which happened this dawn, many, because of fear, have refused to show up for trade. And this is affecting sales here. The roads here are poor, bumpy and dusty. Though awarded on contract, it is yet to realize any major improvement. Samson Chermantin is a resident.
If the road was good, these things wouldn't occur. The road must be fixed.
Police say they are yet to receive an official complaint, though a personnel was at the scene earlier. For Joy News, Nanaya Ojima reporting.
Let me bring in a security analyst on this situation, Richard Kumado. We are grateful for your time here on the Midday News. So 9 days ago, we saw a statement from the Ghana Police Service, strongly worded, fighting off claims that the security situation in the country is not the best. Well, we've been giving you data on what we've recorded so far since then. But from where you sit in particular, what would you say is the security situation in Ghana?
Definitely, there are challenges with what we are witnessing, and the numbers keep going up. And I'm not surprised the Christian Council, the Catholic Bishop Council, and the Ghana Bar Association has waging, and they are calling on the IGP to wake up to his responsibility and cause his men to be a bit more effective when it comes to policing. And I think this particular narrative from your reporters has pointed to the fact that we are witnessing some level of uncomfortable issues of crime and crime-related in Ghana.
But what for you should be the approach in handling the situation? Are you satisfied with how it's been handled so far?
No, I think the IGP number 1, I recommended that the IGP number 1 must leave the political arena. Number 2, he must go back to provide leadership, which is where his strength is. And once he does that, it will motivate the boys and girls to wake up to their policing responsibilities. Then number 3, he might want to look at his operational team again. And that will help him to, mitigate the effect of crime or to prevent it from happening. And that is the reason why he was appointed in the first place, remembering what happened to his predecessor and how he was brought in. Until he's able to do that, then people could be asking for the exit door for the IGP. But I love him and I want him to succeed. So he must look at these recommendations and make sure he works at it. I think he has made some some alignments and some reshuffles that is creating problems for his operational team. Their quickness on the field and being at the right places at the right time is becoming a major problem, and that is why crime seems to be sneaking through his figures, and we must address it as quickly as possible.
Mr. Richard Kumado there is a security analyst. We are grateful for your time here on the Midday News. I'll take you now to Parliament, where the minority there is threatening to block the introduction of any bill by the executive should the chairman of the Constitutional and Legal Affairs Committee, Kwame Enyimadu, continue to delay the passage of the anti-LGBTQ plus bill. Now, this comes after Mr. Enyimadu justified the delay of the bill, arguing his committee would not cede to pressures from the minority to do a shoddy job. He insisted that the committee will go through the legal processes before the passage of the bill.
Committee on Constitutional, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs we have never rested. We are, and especially when they refer to the chairman of the committee as delaying the bill, Mr. Speaker, I would want the House to know that I'm a senior member of this House and I'm competent enough. I'm a senior member at the bar, having passed out in 1995, Mr. Speaker, having practiced and having gone through the laws. This is a bill that we have to go through the processes and we have to take the time so that we will pass a law that will withstand the test of time. We just cannot rush through this. Now, during the recess, Mr.
Well, in a sharp response, the Minority Chief Whip Mutaka Mubarak argued that the chairman ought to have used the right channels for the passage of the bill.
I can assure you that any other bill you introduce this house, we shall resist it. Even if it is to provide water in Ashanti, we will resist it. We will make sure that that bill, as long as it stays there, no any other bill passes through this house. If you try to do that, we shall oppose it because we see that it's deliberate. You are deliberately delaying the bill. So don't make excuses. Because if you wanted it to be fast track, you know what to do. If the government wanted to get that bill done, they know what to do. And what they are doing at that committee, Mr. Speaker, I'm repeating it to the chairman on his face. You are deliberately wasting time on the bill. You don't want the bill to come to this house. If you say what I'm saying is a lie, work hard in a week, you'll be able to bring the report. But you are deliberately wasting time because you don't want the bill. And that is a fact, Mr. Speaker. Because if you look at the method that is using.
Well, that's the Minority Chief Whip there, Mutaka Mubarak. Let me bring in parliamentary correspondent Kweku Asante joining us on the line with more on this. Kweku, then what was the conclusion on this particular matter?
So, this became the usual political banter in the House with the majority on one side and the minority on the other side supporting the passage of the bill immediately. So the Speaker, seeing the deliberation going on, directed that leadership of the House and Mr. Animedu should meet and thrash out all the issues on the progression of the bill by Tuesday and report to the House. And so next week we expect a definite pronouncement in terms of how this bill's conclusion will become in the next 1 week. Emefa.
But aside from this issue, though, what else is happening or taking center stage on the front of Parliament?
So the minority are taking aim at the finance minister's absence in the House. They are raising some substantive issues with the District Assembly's Common Fund payment. They are saying that the finance minister owes the fund $2 billion and has already paid $100 million. And so they are insisting that the finance minister must be brought to the House to answer to some of these issues. And so that is what the Speaker is trying to flesh out in the next 1 hour to ensure if they can bring the finance minister today or they can arrange for a day next week.
That's my colleague Kweku Asante reporting from Parliament. Now, a member of Parliament for North Tongue, Samuel Okujeto-Ablako, has once again alleged that the Finance Minister, Ken Ofori-Atta, released an amount of 142 million cedis for the construction of the National Cathedral in 2020 without budgetary support and shredded in secrecy. According to him, the said release was upon the request of the Chief of Staff at the Presidency, Frima Oseo-Pare. Again, it is emerging the relocation of the passport office, bungalows for High Court judges, and the residence of the Malian ambassador to Ghana cost over 20 million cedis to the state. The minority in separate urgent questions to the Finance Ministry is demanding full disclosure on the construction of the National Cathedral. I'll tell you more about it shortly, but my colleague Elton Brobe joins me in studio with more on this. Elton, there are two letters on the alleged $25 million released in 2020. Walk us through first the one from the Chief of Staff.
It's dated 19th October 2020, and it says, it would be appreciated if the Ministry of Finance could release an amount of $25 million as seed money to the National Cathedral Secretariat to enable the commencement of planned activities. And this is signed by Akosua Frima, Chief of Staff, copied to the Minister for Finance and the Board of Trustees at the National Cathedral.
And what was the response from the Finance Ministry?
And the Minister's response is dated 29th October 2020. You are hereby authorized, and it's also directed at the Bank of Ghana, authorized to release an amount of 142.7 million Ghana cedis, which translates to $25 million, to the Secretariat of the National Cathedral as seed money to enable commencement of work under special projects.
Okay, thank you very much, Elton Brobe. We can hear from the North Tongue MP, Samuel Okujeto-Ablako. For him, the project does not command purity, holiness, and truthfulness.
We also have credible information about expenditure items. For example, the relocation of the passport office. It cost the Ghanaian taxpayer 10 million Ghana cedis. The relocation of the judges when they demolished their bungalows. We are paying for their rent at prime location at about $5,000 a month. Then we are building new bungalows for the judges at another prime location. Then the Malian ambassador's residence was also demolished. We are relocating them at Airport Residential. We know the cost of land at Airport Residential and a new construction. So there are also these incidental costs, all on the taxpayer, running into hundreds and hundreds of millions, if not billions.
Well, joining is also learning of moves in Parliament by some minority NDC MPs to sponsor a motion of censure of the Finance Minister, Ken Ofori-Atta. The North Tongu MP, Samuel Okudzeto-Abakwah, supports the move, but it's not against the construction of the National Cathedral.
First of all, we need to render an account of what has been spent so far. Either people apologize, come before Parliament in a contrite way, and the Ghanaian people will have to decide if we should accept it or there should be sanctions. There are some of our colleagues who believe strongly that the Finance Minister must be a candidate for vote of censure.
Is that your belief also?
Yes, I take the view that I belong to that school of thought, that the Finance Minister must pay for this. You see, we must set a good precedent.
Well, we can hear from a Deputy Finance Minister, Dr. John Kuma. He says the payment is within government expenditure.
And so we are building this particular project with the purpose of promoting religious tourism. And that is what makes this one different. In addition to the Bible Museum and other attachments, which are deliberate, we were going to spend on priority projects that governments were committed to. So it didn't mean that we were not going to spend at all. And we see a lot of importance in payment, or in this particular payment, to achieve the objective of government priorities.
Dr. John Kuma is the Deputy Finance Minister. This is the Midday News. We are live on Joy 99.7 FM in Accra. In Kumasi, it's on Love 99.5 FM. Our top stories: Ghana records its first cases of monkeypox disease, with the Ghana Health Service confirming 5 infections in 3 regions of the country. Been providing update on the COVID-19 situation, as well as we are faced with a triple threat of infections on coronavirus, influenza, and monkeypox. When we return, we have sport, and then in the latest edition of the Joy News Tracker, Choco women are choosing diapers over sanitary pads for their menstruation because it is too expensive.
It keeps increasing every day. It's becoming expensive to menstruate.
We find out why some young persons in the Upper West Regional Capital are also using plastic bags as condoms. Please stay with me.
Yema Wakwaba, ba Akwaba Magic Busia, brand new channel, Tia Roba, Emuno Chiao, Ewo DSTV channel 149, and Go TV channel 108. Enianom Akwaba Magic Busia, Eddie Nidia Waganian programs mu Baufi, Ebit said to have and to hold, and Yom Senior Cassia, series any talk show, Bemo Wakao TV sets Nichi, Akwaba Magic Busia, Ewo DSTV access to your 50 Ghana cedis per any Go TV value to your 25 Ghana cedis per Ebusia Akwaba.
Many thanks for staying with us. Let's do sports. Muftar has the latest.
Emefa, it is not only in football that match fixing happens. The Ghana Table Tennis Federation, their team has been caught in a web of match fixing in the Commonwealth Games qualifiers. All results have been annulled pending investigations. My colleague George Adejina has been speaking to the president, Mawu Afajino.
Very, very determined, George. Very, very determined. I mean, this is a window of opportunity that we are going to seize with both hands. We're going to clean up the game completely. We're going to ensure that table tennis is the space where brilliance comes across, where hard work is rewarded, and where there is absolutely no tolerance. There is no room for fixed matches. There is no room for games of compromise. There is no room for throwing up games. And where the principle of true sportsmanship is what abides all the time. So we are going to get to the bottom of this very quickly.
They're going to get to the bottom very quickly. The Commonwealth Games is happening in the latter part of July, and hopefully the results will be given back to the players so that they can participate in the events.
Thank you very much, Muftal. Like everything else, the price of sanitary pads has risen, with some women saying it is now too expensive to menstruate. Well, some women in Choco have now chosen baby diapers over sanitary pads because they are cheaper and absorb more fluid. Ifwa Aprikua Boafo and Jojo Kobina have been tracking the NPP's campaign promise to eliminate import taxes on sanitary pads. Have the rest of the report.
Ladies and gentlemen, we will eliminate import duties on sanitary pads to improve health conditions, particularly for girls. It's very important, but what we want to really do is to make sure we produce the sanitary pads in Ghana.
That was Vice President Dr. Muhammad Bawumia on 22nd August 2020, making a firm promise that his party will eliminate import tariffs on sanitary pads if re-elected into power. The New Patriotic Party won the 2020 election, but the government is yet to fulfill its promise. Sanitary pads are subjected to a 20% import tax and a 12.5% value-added tax, making the product expensive for many women. Taxes aren't the only factor driving up the prices of sanitary pads. According to dealers, the high cost of fuel is also to blame.
The sanitary pad now the 50 pesos. But now some are selling it 80 cedis and some are selling it 10 cedis.
Rising cost of sanitary pads has forced many women to use baby diapers. Ayele explains how the baby diaper is used as a sanitary pad.
I cut the sides of the diapers to make it straight, and then I use it to line my panties. One diaper can last me a whole day, but when I use sanitary pads, I have to change it 3 times, and that is expensive.
The prices it's just outrageous, and it keeps increasing every day. It's becoming expensive to menstruate.
The full tracker series will come up later on Newsnight. Also, you can catch it on all our social media platforms and on the Joy News channel. And just before we go, Executive Director of Necessary Aid Alliance, Mulumba Songso, has warned stakeholders, especially parents, to engage the awards in sexual-related discussions. This comes after a research finding by his firm shows that over 29% of male adolescents are replacing condoms with plastic bags for sexual activities in the Upper West region.
Yeah, so some of the key recommendations include having on training exercises for various health personnel to ensure confidentiality, and also issues of privacy in these various health facilities. Most of them are complaining that there's no privacy. You go to have conversations on the issues that affect you as a young person, but the structures available does not permit that privacy component. So they fear going to these facilities. Also, these drugstores, people will have to be trained. They will have to be trained seriously to maintain confidentiality. That no, you don't have to do leaking information when people come to buy condoms or come to buy pills from you. You don't have to leak the information to anyone. It's confidential. And also, there have to be an intense education on parents.
That's the Executive Director of Necessary Aid Alliance, Mulumba Songsori. Well, head of our health desk joins me in studio. You've been finding out from the Ghana AIDS Commission what exactly they're doing about this situation.
Indeed, in all the regions, the Ghana AIDS Commission officers will be able to provide condoms to persons who need them, and staff there have been trained, according to the Director General, in such a way that they will provide the condoms to you without you feeling embarrassed to possess them. Similarly, the AIDS Commission also confirms that pharmacists have been trained in such a way that they will be welcoming to people who go there. The objective is to get everybody who wants to or who needs to use a condom to feel free and get to use the condom.
Why do people feel embarrassed to possess one?
It's because of stigma.
Don't answer that. Let's go. And that's how we wrap up today's edition of the Midday News here on Joy 99.7 FM. There's more when you log on to myjoyonline.com. 5 cases 5 cases of monkeypox confirmed in Ghana. 2 reportedly injured in alleged dynamite blast at Santa Maria. Ufuriata must be removed from office. That's according to Ablakwa. That and more on myjoyonline.com. I am Emefa Apawu. So much thank you for being a part of today's midday news. And we have Living Word with Pastor Mensa Otabil. Please stay for it.